Nigeria's central bank has approved the launch of open banking, mandating that banks begin sharing customer data with other financial institutions with effect from August 2025. Now, Nigeria becomes the first African country to implement open banking 4 years after the Central Bank of Nigeria released its regulatory framework for the initiative. With the CBN's approval, customers can now consent to allow regulated financial institutions access their data, such as account balances, transaction histories, spending patterns, and in some cases, even initiate transactions on their behalf. Latest reports indicate that one of Nigeria's refineries located in Warri, Delta State has shut operations down despite huge funds spent on its refurbishment. Now, according to a document from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the Warri refinery, which cost $897.6 million in maintenance, has failed to produce petrol and was shut down barely a month after it was declared. The refinery ceased operations on January 25, 2025 due to safety issues in its crude distillation unit main heater operation, according to the document. Now, with the change in the leadership of state-owned oil company, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, comes a restructuring of the management and staff of the company that has seen some senior management and staff being retired or having their contracts terminated. A number of senior management staff may have been relieved of their positions. The new management, having 3 days upon assuming office, appointed an 8-member senior management team. Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu joins me now to discuss this in more detail. Great to see you, Mr. Chika.
How are you today?
I'm really great. And yourself?
Good, I'm quite
great.
good.
I mean, quite a bit to get through. Let's begin with the Warri refinery revamp and the concerns around this, of course.
Abby, the interesting thing is that a very senior person in the petroleum industry, a very big player, actually told me some time ago, a long time ago, Chika, don't worry, none of this will work.
Don't worry, none of this will work.
Because I was talking about the market dynamics, that the fact that supply determines price, and that when Warri refinery comes on stream, there'll be more volumes of products in the market. Port Harcourt comes on stream, and then add to Dangote refinery, the market will be stabilized. And he told me that I shouldn't worry. That neither Warri refinery, Port Harcourt refinery, even Kaduna refinery, none of them will work with the way it has been structured. So it's a tragedy for really our country. That I think Warri refinery is almost $1 billion, and Port Harcourt was about $1.3 billion or thereabout, if I got my figures right, and then Kaduna about the same range of amount. And so the turnaround maintenance have failed. And, that's why people say sometimes that, they don't understand why Nigeria should be poor. Nigeria should not be a poor nation. But you can see it now. If $1 billion is just thrown down the drain, turnaround maintenance that people have come out and commissioned, people that will hold in trust in NNPC have come out and said the thing was working and commissioned it. Port Harcourt was working and commissioned it. And Port Harcourt will land now is operating at 40% capacity. So it's really a tragedy. One of our colleagues in a program has, dissected these issues on the refineries. And I had hoped that we'll get it right. I had hoped. I always believe that if you have the right contractors, instead of all these briefest contractors we used to use in the past, because Nigeria has gone through several cycles of turnaround maintenance on refineries, and each of them always failed. You will hear the billions of dollars they get to it, and then at the end of the day, not a liter of petrol comes out. Now, I thought by this time around we'll also get it right. But hopefully, I hope, tied to your story, the next story that you have, which is NNPC management and the new NNPC management team, I hope the new team will get it right. We also read in the papers that they have fired even though not confirmed by NNPC people yet, they have fired the MDs of the 3 refineries. That's Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna, along with a lot of other management staff. But it's not surprising because we already spoke about the new team that the president appointed in place for the NNPCL. And we said for the first time, the right thing had been done, the right people have been put in place. That team is made up of a team of technocrats. who are not hungry, looking for to curry favor with anybody, who have strong CVs, and who hope that the board and management team will come in place and make sure that the right things are done, and NNPC takes its rightful place in the oil industry worldwide. So when they mention the other national oil companies in the world, NNPC will have its right of place also. So the second thing he had about employees being fired, we know that when we spoke about the key success factors for turning around a company, building a first-class company, we talked about the quality of employees. We talked about recruitment process that is transparent. We are the best or hired for each position. I don't have the statistics here, but I can say that NNPC has not been very transparent in the recruitment process historically. We've known that a lot of people have been put in funny situations. But so the new team that's come to turn around NNPC must have their own team in place. I'm sure they've done a staff audit and identified those who they believe would have helped them achieve the objective. And so it's not surprising that this is happening. It's not surprising.
Welcome the restructuring.
Of course, yes.
And in terms of operational efficiency and corporate governance, you believe that this is the right direction to go?
There's no way that if you can turn around agent, they can turn around NNPC, that this will not happen. So I mean, they're gonna cut off heads. It's not unexpected.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's look next at the CBN's approval of open banking. How will this reshape the financial services landscape?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is interesting. Sometimes I call it Uberizing the banking space.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, Uberizing the banking space. Democratizing the banking space. Basically, the open banking, as we know it, is a regulatory and a banking framework that allows financial institutions to share customer information with third parties. Yeah. Now, the technology issue there that won't bore our viewers, how it's going to be done, the API and all those stuff. But basically, let me focus on what is the reason behind this. The reason behind this, Abby, is, for example, in Nigeria, about 70% of the customers from the banks have not can access bank credits. And in the first world and other geographies, if you want to buy a car in Nigeria here, you got to fill your boot with the money. Yeah. Anything you want to buy, so personal credits are lacking. And then what has happened? The fintech people have gone into that space, but you require data. You require customer information on a composite manner, to be able to lend properly, assess the risks, and that. So one area that in banking I will gain from this, open banking, is basically the lending framework. So what it means, Abby, is that your account in 3 or 4 banks, instead of each of the banks just having that information only, you can give an approval to another institution to go into those banks and pull your information, with your authority, because the information you own it as a customer. Unlike before, the institutions will actually hold it. Now, once you give the instruction that they should release the information, they will release it to those institutions. And so anybody who's analyzing you, for the benefits of giving you a loan, lend to you, personal lending, and other things, will now have a very full information. And so other things that you have like budgeting, it helps budgeting also. It will help actually in developing the banking space. New products are going to come into this system, like things that have to do with budgeting. It will come into the system. The new lending programs will come, new products will come. Customers will have more choices, and there'll be more competition also with the legacy banks versus also the fintech companies. But most importantly, there'll be more information now to make decisions on customers when you're going to make decisions on whether to deal with the customers, lend to them, or do other transactions with them.
Right. It sounds like you've done quite seamlessly and transparently as well. This is going to cut a lot of wasted time, red tape, and all of that process. So certainly a very welcome one. We've unfortunately run out of time. Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu, many thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again very soon.